you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain, then follow us on Twitter @FromAHat.
Welcome to From a Hat, the show where we draw a topic out of a hat, just like it says in the title. I'm Ben.
I'm Dom.
I'm Phoenix. It's been a while since you've been here, you couldn't remember what to do.
I'm so used to being on the other side.
Yeah.
The other side of these rhymes.
Oh god.
I'm finally back in the den with my boy Phoenix and my main man Ben. It's Dom here, or MC Dom Dollar. If you love to podcast, let me hear you holler. Woo! But don't get too keen, because I'm bad at freestyling. I can't think of rhymes, and this is where the rap finishes.
Love it.
Okay, so that's just a taste.
I want it known right now that I didn't not holler because I'm sick and I sound like this. I not hollered because I hate this.
Out of protest.
And
Listen,
I
that's
truly
not your raps. I hate podcasting.
Okay, but what you have to understand, guys, and you're going to have to get used to this, is that from now on, whenever I'm on the show, there will be a rap intro. I need to get my brand out there. For anybody that's thinking, did he really say his name is Dom Dollar? Isn't that the name of another DJ? Don't worry, there's a rap comment about that. It'll clear up any confusion.
Ever since you killed off Now Where Could My Podcast Be and you murdered your co-host
That's
on that
right,
show,
I've just had a lot of free time.
you've needed to get it out.
To rap.
Yeah, well, there's a lot that I got out in yelling about Garfield that I'm not getting out currently. The only avenue I have is this rapping. And I'll shout out where to follow me at the end when we do the plugs.
You know, yesterday, this just came from the yelling thing.
Yeah.
Yesterday I was at work.
Yeah.
And we're doing Secret Santa at work.
Right.
Right, and I hate Secret Santa.
Yeah, same.
So I was making my Secret Santa gift, and it was not going well. There's glue all over my hand, like super glue all over my fingers right now. It's really annoying. But anyway, I was making it, and Courtney called me, who doesn't exist, but...
She hasn't been on the show. She doesn't exist.
But one day she will.
My imaginary friend Courtney.
But anyway, Courtney called me.
Imaginary girlfriend Courtney.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, but my imaginary...
Makes more sense if she's an imaginary girlfriend, eh?
It really does.
Yeah.
That's where the sticky stuff came from.
So anyway, so I'm super glowing, and Courtney called me, and I thought I had answered it, and I'm really glad I didn't, because as I answered it, I got more glue on me, and I was just like, God damn it! And like threw the glue.
Apologies.
Before you started telling that story, I was trying to adjust the gain. And I thought to myself, he's not going to yell.
Why? I brought it up with this is going to start with, talking about yelling was the first thing I said.
I thought to myself...
neither of us connected those dots.
I'll let him continue this story, because Phoenix isn't known to peak the audio all that much. That's my job, but...
No, I'm changing it.
Yep.
I'm changing it up.
Anyway.
Mine's a screech rather than like a normal yell.
So I'm into
Also,
rapping.
I've got to...
Phoenix's thing is screeching.
Yeah, I'm becoming the Nazgul.
Did I turn it up or down? Who's to say? I turned it down. Everything's better now.
Alright, I have to put in my password to do flight mode, don't I?
Why?
I don't know, but I do, apparently.
Professionals. We're putting our phones on silent on air.
On air, yeah.
Yeah. Now it's time for...
Or should I say off air?
Now, Phoenix, you may not be familiar with the format, but on this show we draw a topic out of a hat and then we talk about it.
Just like it says in the title.
Just like it says in the title. And so now is... Oh, you've listened to it. And so now the time where we draw the topic out of the hat.
I like how you're telling him...
I'm going to do it.
He's becoming the new host, it seems.
Even though he's, been on... Even though, he wasn't on the most recent episode that came out as of this recording date, he's still been on more than fucking you, man.
Well, ever since he's met this imaginary girlfriend, Courtney, he's like a new person. So I'm just assuming that...
all my memories are gone.
Yeah,
Everything I've ever experienced.
We took a pin, we poked it in the tiny hole on the back of his shoulder.
Now,
to give him a factory reset.
Poking holes in people, that is very important for this topic. It is Edward Scissorhands.
Oh,
okay.
How good. Alright. Does Edward Scissorhands have a theme song?
Yes, it does.
What is it?
Good?
It's... I used to know it. It's like... it's a very, Danny Elfman orchestral kind of... What if I get it up? I'll take my phone off flight mode.
Well, we can just look it up in the
No,
edit.
I'm looking it up as we speak. Maybe not.
You mean I can just look it up?
That's what I meant. But it is our show. So...
I only have.
Do you want to do the editing
battery.
No.
That's what I fucking thought.
God, no. Don't send me back to that hellhole. I'll tell you what, though. I've been talking to a lot of people. It has come up a lot recently, just by pure coincidence. People have been telling me how much they hate their voice. And every time they say it, I say, you should record and edit a podcast of yourself talking. Because that is trial by fire, and you will get over it real quick.
It's like how in movies you can expose yourself to poison and you'll get immune to it.
Uh-huh.
You hate your voice enough. Yeah. You hate your voice a lot, so you record a podcast and you edit it, and then you're like, well, I'm immune to it now.
Yeah, it literally.
Yeah, I don't mind my voice on recording at all.
Certain that's not getting
It's
picked up.
funny. It's funny,
it
right?
is. By this point, I'll have cut all this and I'll put the theme song on.
It's funny because I looked up Edward Scissorhands' theme, and there's the main title, but there's a song in it called Ice Dance. That's like the more iconic song,
use
and
one
that
of
came
these.
up first.
Can you move your foot so you're not actually going to stand on the...
I'm trying not to whack it,
So like the
if you know what I mean.
Imperial March.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, exactly like that.
He's got hands made of scissors.
He does have hands made of scissors.
How'd he get like that? How do
So-
you do?
Because he's a
How do
robot.
you do?
He's not a robot.
Well, he's not a human.
Yeah, I never said he was a human. I just said he's not a robot. At the beginning of Edward Scissorhands, they explain that Edward Scissorhands' dad, Dadward Scissorhands,
Dadward Scissorhands,
has
played by
made-
Vincent Price.
has made the perfect boy. Right? It's like Pinocchio. He made him out of bits.
Yep.
And he was about to put on the hands, and the scissor hands were placeholders.
Yeah.
Right.
He just had a bunch of scissors lying
had a
around, and he
bunch of
stuck them
scissors.
to his son.
What really gets
Conveniently in the shape of like a claw.
what really
stuck
gets me
together.
is that they're broken scissors.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't have scissor hands; he has knife hands.
Yes, that is an important.
But are they broken scissors? Like, when they're explaining it, aren't his scissors, like, pristine? Like, I'm pretty sure he starts his life with, like pristine scissors, and it's just they've worn down into, like, sharp blades
But
as he's...
I don't think he does.
I have scissors that are separate, right? And you can like stick them together to chop things.
Yeah.
So even if he has just knife hands, he has so many that he can form them into scissors.
It's like Kill la Kill, right? It's a big old scissor blade. Stick it together. You got scissors.
yeah.
Right.
But no, it's not like that, because what I'm more saying
Yeah, no, they start as just straight knives. Like,
Nice.
is that scissors are just two knives.
That's true.
with Edward Scissorhands, is like because when you look at him, he's got that weird fucking goth
Yeah.
BDSM suit. Is that his body?
No,
Like,
he's
no.
just into that.
Is that his skin or are those his
No,
clothes?
no, those are his clothes.
Okay,
He's just
but he
goth.
puts on other clothes over the top.
Does he?
Yeah,
I-
he puts on like a white shirt when he gets a job,
Yes.
and he wears suspenders when he moves to Pleasantville.
But that's a metaphor for how he's hiding his true
It's
self.
conforming.
Yeah.
Ah.
Because really,
I see.
he's because Edward Scissorhands is just a skinny goth legend.
So he's Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
Yes, essentially.
Just without the spousal abuse.
Yes, I would not call
Not necessarily.
I would not call Johnny Depp a legend currently, but in terms of the goth oeuvre, maybe.
Ah, Johnny Depp.
Because they're not even like, his hands aren't even like proper scissors. Like, okay, I understand the point you guys have made. What
Yeah.
are scissors if not just
Two
two knives
knives.
stuck together?
Yeah.
That's fine and all. But like, scissors should not be, these are fucking hedge clippers. These
What
are
are hedge clippers if not giant scissors?
hedge clippers. There's a difference. These are not standard scissors.
Right.
Should be called Edward fucking Knife Hands.
He does trim hedges in the movie, yes?
He does, yes.
Yeah, that's
He makes
real.
lawn
I
art.
remember that.
But calling it Edward Knife Hands immediately sets it as like, this is a spooky, scary...
It kind of fucking is.
Yeah,
is
but it's not... It's like a family-friendly spooky scary,
Scissors-
No one really gets hurt.
Yeah. Scissors are more like, I want to say a house with a clock in its walls aesthetic.
Yeah.
Is that a point of reference for everyone else?
Kind of.
For that sort of like...
I mean, I got the reference, but...
Lo-fi, steampunk-esque, magical aesthetic. I don't know what's going on.
Lo-fi spooky boys.
Yeah, lo-fi spooky boys to chill and relax to.
The thing I don't get...
To hedge trim to.
This is about his original... Not his original hands, his replacement hands that were the non-scissor hands.
Yeah, his normal human hands.
But those are supposed to function like normal human hands, right?
Yeah.
But they shatter on impact.
Yeah.
Like, they look like they're made of porcelain.
They shatter on impact?
Yeah.
When do they do that?
In the scene, so his Dadward Scissorhands.
Yeah, Dadward Scissorhands.
Dadward Scissorhands has got the hands ready to give Edward, and then he has a heart attack, or he dies of whatever.
Yeah.
And when he does,
He dies of sadness.
He drops the hands, and they shatter on the ground.
I just thought he died of a heart attack, and Edward... Because I remember Edward looking like fucking Sheldon Cooper, like a stick mantis man, just kind of looking over his stuff, being like, oh, and going to touch him, like, I can't touch him, I've got scissor hands. And then he looks at his hands, and I just assumed in the interim that he'd accidentally cut his hands to shreds.
No, his hands shatter on the ground.
Oh. Those are some shitty hands.
Right? Like, what if he ever got in a fight?
What if he ever had a wife?
Actually, that'd be pretty good. As long as he always had replacements.
When that happens, right, when he's about to place the hands on him, does Edward have the scissor hands on him at that point?
Because what he does is Dadward Scissorhands, actually, side note, but if he doesn't have scissor hands, is he Dadward Hands?
No, Scissorhands is a family name. The Scissorhands was
just
a
a
coincidence.
huge coincidence.
Okay, cool. Dadward Scissorhands walks up to Edward Scissorhands with the hands in like a nice velvety box. And he's like, Edward, I've finished your hands. Look. And then he shows him the hands. He's like, oh no, a convenient heart attack. And then he falls down, presumably on the hands, shattering them. And then Edward's like, well, fuck.
What can I do?
Quote Edward Scissorhands.
When did Edward Scissorhands come out? Is it the 90s or the 80s?
It was the 80s.
Was the 80s?
Did they
Yeah,
have...
very late 80s.
But
Came out
theoretically,
89.
right, they have prosthetics in the late 80s.
Yes.
Yeah, but he had
Why could they
scissors.
not just give him... Did he, in the movie... Like, it's been a while since I've seen it, but I have seen it. In the movie, did he decide that he wanted to keep his scissor hands?
No.
No.
No, he did not
I
at
thought they
all.
were a cause of great stress for him.
They are.
Of trauma. Also, kind of a sidetrack, unrelated, but do you think that the reason that that Dadward Scissorhands collapsed and died is because he died of irony when he finally realized that he had given his son Scissorhands and that this is also his last name?
Perhaps.
Oh my god!
I always put it down to...
That's so ironic.
I put it down to the fact that he was fast approaching what I like to call the Disney line, which is that if you make a child with some kind of issue, you get to a certain point where where you as the parent have to die.
Right.
The Disney line.
Just as...
Geppetto doesn't die.
Yeah, that's what
He
I
gets
was...
eaten by a whale, though.
Doesn't die. He's the luckiest guy out there.
Geppetto's a tough son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Side note, Geppetto should join the army.
I mean, he was a carpenter, right?
Fight in the war.
Join the Navy, fight the whales.
Fight the
That's
whales.
what the Navy does.
Gotta nuke something.
Gotta nuke something.
But Dadward Scissorhands was building a boy.
Yeah.
Because Dadward Scissorhands couldn't have a wife for reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was crazy.
He was
He
crazy.
was closeted.
He really wanted to build a boy.
Yeah.
So he was great. Not getting into that.
No. Well, I don't want to conflate the two. It's you can believe in your own alternate universe. It's either he's crazy or he's closeted.
Is Edward made of meat?
Well, it seems like he's made of porcelain.
Then how does he move?
That's what I'm asking.
Doesn't a woman try to fuck him at one point?
Yes.
When he's got a hair salon?
Yeah.
And like that woman, there's a woman in a hair salon. Like after Edward does the hedge trimming, and they're like, "Oh, that's really cool." Like, well, he cut someone's hair by accident. He's like, "Oh, I did that.
Let me get a piece of that."
And then some woman from Pleasantville's like, "Hey, you should have a hair salon." And so they open a hair salon, and then she tries to fuck him, and he's like, Edward Scissorhands. He's like,
I guess
I will stab you.
I have no cock.
He is tall, dark, and mysterious. You know what I'm saying?
Does he have a butthole?
I mean, how would he wipe if he did?
He doesn't have a butthole. Okay, that just leads me to believe that fucking leather suit he's wearing is his skin.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's fair.
That makes sense. Holds the porcelain together.
that actually is not a bad idea.
He's a leather mummy.
Do you reckon if Edward Scissorhands had Tinder, would he try to frame photos in such a way that his scissor hands were not visible?
I feel like Edward Scissorhands couldn't have a phone that could carry Tinder.
Well, that's fair.
Because he is incapable of swiping.
You need a Nokia.
Yeah. He'd need a Nokia.
He holds his hand 15 feet away from... Oh, that's a bit of an exaggeration, isn't it?
They're quite long scissors.
15 inches away from his phone and pokes the Nokia buttons. I enjoy that visual.
It is a good visual.
That was theatre of the mind right there.
Now, Edward Scissorhands, this is to keep going on the fact that I think he's porcelain.
Yeah.
He doesn't... his skin doesn't, like, change, right? Like, if he's hot, if he's cold... It's always just pale.
Yeah.
That's why all the goth girls love him.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure they put makeup on him at one point. Because they're like, you're so pale. Try this.
Yeah, isn't the woman who adopts Edward, an
Avon salesman.
Yeah. Yeah, she's an Avon salesman. Because she's like, oh, no one's ever tried to sell Avon to that creepy fucking mansion on the top of the hill.
Big castle with the lightning cracking over it.
Overlooking Pleasantville.
That is the one... one of two things that I remember from Edward Scissorhands is him cutting the hedges and him standing in the front yard of the house he resides in and looking at the mansion that hangs over Pleasantville.
Like he lives there. At the end of the movie, they don't like. There's no one dies. No one gets like he just gets angry, cuts a bunch of hedges to be scary, and then goes back to his castle.
The woman who tried to fuck him accuses him of coming onto her.
Yeah,
because she has a husband, and Edward accidentally gives a little nick to the little brother of the family that adopted him.
Yeah,
like he accidentally cuts his cheek trying to help him up.
Yeah,
but then he goes home,
and then everyone is like, "Oh, you're a monster because you've got scissor hands," which is valid because you have fucking scissor hands.
That is like...
But they should have said that to begin with.
And then he goes home, and then the daughter from that family goes up to the mansion, for some reason in my brain, she's being followed by her jock boyfriend, and Edward kills him? Or am I thinking of Beauty and the Beast?
That might happen, actually.
Because I distinctly remember either the jock boyfriend dies, or both the girl and the jock boyfriend die, and Edward makes it snow. And it's got a sad ending as he's like cutting
the girl lives.
Oh, she lives?
For sure the girl lives because the whole story... The whole movie is taking place as she's telling someone about the mysterious boy or the mysterious person that lives in there to their child.
Okay.
She's telling Jesus because she's at a campfire in heaven.
Yeah.
Because she died.
Jesus is just like, he was an abomination to God, right?
He had no soul.
Or penis.
Or penis. You couldn't fuck that.
That's where the soul lives.
Everyone knows the soul is in the genitals.
Yeah. Which is why dogs don't have them.
Which is a lie, because the soul is in the feet. That's why they have the soul.
Souls, that's true, yeah.
That's why shoes go to heaven. Because they've got souls.
All shoes go to heaven. Except sandals.
Anyway.
And Crocs.
A thought occurred to me while we were having that conversation then.
Yeah.
I've just appropriately named the town that this takes place in Pleasantville because it looks like Pleasantville.
From The Sims.
No, from whatever Pleasantville's from. But it occurred to me as I was saying that, has anyone seen The Cat in the Hat?
Yeah, of course.
The Mike Myers film.
Yes.
Stop playing with the tablecloth.
One of the greatest films of our generation.
Does anyone else notice...
Actually, sorry. Re-ask the question.
Has anyone seen Cat in the Hat?
Oh, yeah!
Alright then. So, the Mike Myers classic, The Cat in the Hat. When you watch that, has anyone else, now that you're thinking about it, noticed the similarities between Pleasantville from Edward Scissorhands and the town in the Cat in the Hat.
Yeah, they're very similar.
Well, as soon as you brought up Cat in the Hat, I'm like, are those set in the same?
That's what I'm asking. Is it possible then that the Cat in the Hat is just the future of Pleasantville after Edward has passed? Maybe Edward made his own boy.
A cat?
Out of a cat.
The aesthetic of Cat in the Hat, because you know how they're all wearing crazy colours, and it's a bit wild. That aesthetic is a direct result. It's a counter to the aesthetic, the goth aesthetic that Edward Scissorhands brought to Pleasantville, and so it's a reaction. So there's a clear parallel. They were like, enough of that guy. We're sick of him. Let's invent our own new artistic.
Yeah. What if
Edward
Dadward Scissorhands made a pet for Edward?
Yeah. What if the Cat in the Hat was just a project that Dadward Scissorhands had in the basement? That would explain Thing 1 and Thing 2. Because Thing 1 and Thing 2 look like Edward Scissorhands, but small and with hands. Maybe Thing 1 and Thing 2 are made of socks and porcelain.
Sure.
And he made them and he's like, well, these are fucked.
Do they have hands?
Yeah, they have
Pretty
hands.
sure they've got mittens.
Oh yeah, you're right. They've got feety pajamas.
Yeah.
That's why he was like, I can't use these. They can't even pick up cups. So then he put them in the basement with the cat.
Yep.
And then he tried to make Edward.
And then the cat got out.
And where does the
Killed
cat
Edward.
live?
Inside Edward's ribcage. He lives in a box.
No, the Cat in the Hat's pretty violent as a character in that movie.
Cat in the Hat's pretty... He cuts off his own tail.
Yeah. And he...
Just as a gag.
He straight up goes to whack a kid with a baseball bat.
Yes.
He's a monster.
I mean, that is an interesting thing. It's like Edward Scissorhands is like clearly... It's the aesthetic of horror in a story for families. The Cat in the Hat is a horrific story in the aesthetic of a family-friendly kids film.
So they're like the yin-yang of each other.
Yes.
One cannot exist without the other.
Yeah. And I'm glad both exist.
As am I, because they're fucked.
Who would win in a fight?
Edward.
Cat in the Hat.
I think Cat in the Hat, he seems to have, like, cosmic power.
He's mastered the clone jutsu.
The Cat in the Hat does have, like, cartoon powers.
Yeah.
But Edward has knives. The Cat in the Hat has blunt objects. And I don't think that if you hit Edward's body with, like, a hammer, it'd do anything.
Yeah, the leather takes all the...
Exactly.
Takes all the
so I feel like they approach each other, the Cat in the Hat lifts his hat and pulls a big baseball bat out, and while he's doing that, Edward just guts him dick to chin with one knife.
Yeah. But again,
and then he cuts him into a fancy
I'm not
shape.
sure that's in Edward Scissorhands' nature. Whereas it's very much in the
killed
Cat
the
in the Hat's
boyfriend,
nature to...
But if they're in a fight to the death, we're assuming they know they have to fight to the death.
That's fair. That is fair.
If we put them in a death battle, then you've got to assume they're
trying to kill each other.
Yeah, what they naturally would do in that situation. So if it was Batman, he'd fight to incapacitate. But in Edward's case, he's obviously going to go for the kill.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's a murdering monster man.
Yeah. And with that being said, my next question is, what's better for hands than scissors or hands?
Hot dogs.
Hot dog hands.
You'd have to be desperate. But if you're ever in a situation where you need food, like, that's essential. You know what's not essential for life? Scissors. You can just rip those
hands.
Hands. You don't need them. From hatpodcast@gmail.com. Hands. You don't need them.
No, that's just what sprung to mind, but I'm starting to think that the hot dogs would go off and then that would just be unpleasant.
Well, they'd rot. The trick is you got to pick something that will last a while.
Yeah.
But is also, like...
functional.
Yeah.
God, I wish we could just pick fingers.
So anyway, tentacles.
Yes.
Tentacles.
If you pick
now, you
fingers...
might be like, but they'll go bad too, but that's why you just keep them in water all the time until you need to squid them up.
If you pick fingers or hands, though, that means the entire hand has to be made of smaller hands or small fingers.
I'm fine with that.
The idea of a Powerpuff Girls-esque mitt made of fingers.
Yuck.
No, I'm saying like if you had a hand that was made of fingers, but it had to be multiple fingers. It can't just be the one Powerpuff Girl.
No, so it's
finger.
like the palm of your hand is just a big a big finger.
Do you reckon?
And then you've got 5 smaller fingers attached.
Yeah. Do you reckon you'd have a more grip?
No.
You could like Spider-Man up walls.
You could bend your palm, maybe.
Edward doesn't have palms.
He does.
Does he?
Yeah, which is why I don't think he technically has scissor hands, because he's got claws. Like, he's got hands.
At least these two are scissors for sure.
Yeah. He's got regular fucking hands that that Dadward Scissorhands glued scissors to.
But that's not what happened. Because if that were true, he could just take the scissors off.
Yeah.
Which I think he can. I think he doesn't have blood and they should just cut his hands off and replace them.
He probably doesn't have blood.
That's true.
He never bleeds.
Yeah.
Can you kill him?
I mean, he's got scars all over him, but...
How do we kill him?
You unzip them.
When we first meet him, is he covered in facial scars?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not imagining that?
No, he's covered in scars.
Is that from him trying to like touch himself?
Some itches.
I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was a mosquito.
That's so sad, man.
He can't stroke his own face. Maybe he was trying to shave.
He's got hair.
Can he grow? Oh, he does have
His hair doesn't change from when we see him as a boy with Dadward Scissorhands.
That's true.
When we see him as a man.
So I don't think
Does he
can grow
age?
hair. Oh, wait, is he the same size?
Yeah, he's exactly the same except for some facial scars.
He don't grow.
Weird boy.
Very weird boy.
Like, I would say he's less of a boy and more of a full-grown person.
Perhaps Dadward Scissorhands decided he didn't want a boy and he just wanted a
He
drinking
wanted a
buddy.
husband.
No, because then he's not Dadward Scissorhands. Then he's husband Scissorhands.
What if the whole thing was for... No, hear me out. This is going to be a big, weird thing.
Yeah.
But for Dr. Frankenfurter from the Rocky Horror Picture Show, who tried to make the perfect boy.
Right.
Didn't
true.
work. So he made him a new boy.
By the way, I've just decided my choice to replace Edward Scissorhands with new hands is Dadward Scissorhands.
You put
True Dadward Scissorhands?
No, I want to put like
Dadward's hands.
So assuming like Edward's got like a hand and then scissor, like the prosthetic, obviously.
Yep.
That's the design. I assume that's how you do the design for this. So he's just got Dadward hands on his regular hands. So he's, instead of fingers, he's got some Dadwards. And instead of a palm, he's got a couple of Dadwards.
Does he feel?
Does Edward feel?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
But he must.
He must, right?
Why must he?
Because how would he be aware of situations he's in? How would he know that the water was coming out of the waterbed when he pricked it?
Because he saw it.
That's fair.
He physically saw it and heard
But
it.
if he doesn't feel pain, then it's not so much of a sad story.
He doesn't feel pain.
Does he feel emotional pain?
He is emotional pain. Look at him. His name is Edward Scissorhands, and he has scissors for hands.
Isn't that what Edward Scissorhands is like metaphorically about? Like, what's the message of Edward Scissorhands?
The message is don't make a man with scissor hands.
I didn't feel like anybody had to be told.
I'm pretty
that.
sure the actual
Clearly
message.
you did.
The actual message is, no one's born a monster. People make monsters from others.
Right.
Except for Edward, who's born a monster.
That's a pretty bad metaphor.
No one's born a monster. Except for that guy.
But
he's fucked.
Because he's like a good guy, right? He starts off just a nice guy and then he's made into a monster by people perceiving him as such.
Right. But okay, no, that's
no one's born a monster except Edward.
But yeah,
He's
I
a
would
monster.
still say that, like, by the definitions of a monster, he may not be emotionally a monster, but he is physically. By all metrics, he is a monster.
Would you not be emotional pain if your last name dictated what your hands were? If I, Benjamin Pandel, woke up tomorrow and my hands were made of pans and Dell computers, I would be in so much emotional pain.
Hey, pans would be helpful for your job.
They would actually be quiet. No, they wouldn't, because I need tongs.
And the computer means you can podcast anywhere. And we all know how much you love podcasting.
A fate worse than death.
Would the computers be powered by your own, like, biochemistry?
Are the computers powered by blood? Yes. Is this an offshoot of the Flesh House? Definitely.
I love this concept.
I still think he's a robot.
I don't think he's not a robot.
He's not human.
Maybe he's made of clocks.
If he doesn't feel pain.
That sounds like a robot.
No, because then he's a clockwork... Okay, he's a kind of robot. He's a clockwork robot, right? Maybe he's made of watch bits, alright? That would explain the leather exterior. It's to house his clockwork innards, right? Dadward Scissorhands wound him up for 5,000 years, and then set him off, and then was like, fuck, I forgot to give him hands. Best fake a heart attack to get out of this one. Clever thinking Dadward.
I was gonna say, Dadward really didn't have his
What happened to Edward? What happened to Dadward? What did Edward do with the body? Did he eat it?
Why didn't he make it all in one go?
Why does that make so much sense?
What did you say, Phoenix?
It does make sense. That he ate his dad.
Edward ate Dadward. We never see any bones.
Yeah, there's nothing left of him.
Or anything. He's just gone.
And like, what else is he gonna do up there? He has one orifice. Or I guess he has a nose, but he's not gonna sniff his dad. He could have grounded up his dad using his hands and snorted him like cocaine.
He unhinged his jaw like a snake.
Oh my god.
It just slithered over him.
Well, did...
Meat grinding in his gears.
So, did Edward Scissorhands...
Blood on the gears, boys! Blood on the gears!
Did Edward Scissorhands have any sort of conscience... Like, was he awake before his dad died?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because his dad's like, Edward, I've got a present for you.
Yeah, because Edward's standing there looking out the window with his real raptor hands.
How long did
That's what I'm
Edward
saying.
have the Scissorhands while Dadward was developing these poorly constructed...
I can only assume a week.
Why didn't Dadward make it all in one shot and then put it together in one shot instead of being like, I'll finish the hands next time?
Because man is nothing except spiteful to himself. When man attempt to play God, God laughs. Man makes plans, God chuckles.
So, but I just want to confirm the theory that Edward ate his dad, because if
Edward ate Dadward, yes.
No, because if you're in...
Hashtag Edward ate Dadward.
You know how if, like, there are twins, and one of them just isn't developing as strongly as the other, in the fetus, the other baby will just eat or absorb...
Yeah, the fetus will absorb the other fetus, yeah.
Yes. So, if you're, like, a week old... Those instincts are still fresh within your mind. And so, if your dad dies...
You're saying that if a baby is born with a twin and the little twin isn't as strong, the baby will eat said twin?
Well, if the Simpsons have taught me anything.
If the baby... I'm saying if the baby had the capacity to devour a child... a twin, its same size at that stage in its life, which it doesn't. If it had the capacity to do that, its instincts would be to do that.
You think so?
Yes.
Phoenix, tell me that if you, in your current body, were turned into a baby, with your same brain, your first thought would not be, I'm going to try to fight Ben and Dom and eat them. Because if I was suddenly turned into the body of a baby, I would literally think to myself, I'm going to beat up Dom as a baby. See how that goes for me.
Well, you'd probably win, but I wouldn't enjoy being eaten.
It's mostly because you wouldn't want to beat up a baby.
That is true. It's that famous thing of, like, if you want to go back in time and kill Hitler as a kid, you'll just be known as the guy who killed a kid.
True. Plus, it'd be more gratifying to kill him as an adult.
Yes.
In the Ninja Turtles canon, Leonardo convinced Adolf Hitler to commit suicide. There's a comic where Leonardo goes back into... Like, the Turtles go back in time.
Yeah, Turtles in Time. I've played the game.
Not that one, but Leonardo ends up in... Like, he fights in World War II.
Yeah.
And he ends up face to face with Hitler, and Hitler's like, you're a monster. And he goes, yup. You know what you should do to be rid of monsters? End yourself. And Hitler's like, you're right. And just kills himself because he saw a turtle man.
I don't like the narrative that's coming across there. That makes me think that, like, I don't know, like, it kind of makes me feel as though...
I think he actually said something along the lines of, I am what happens in the future if you win. And Hitler couldn't stomach that, so he killed himself.
So
Well, he is
Hitler killed himself
radioactive.
because he was horrified by the sight of a grown turtle man.
Yes.
Okay, I can get behind that.
Which, I mean, I would. But then again, if I was faced with Edward Scissorhands, I'd kill myself as well.
Get Edward to do it.
Edward, come on, mate.
Give me a hug.
Give me a hug. Come on, stab me right through the heart. First I get him to give me a sick haircut. Then I'd get him to kill me.
So at least you look good at the funeral.
Yeah. Well, now that we've deduced that the best replacement for Scissorhands is regular hands, and that Edward in fact ate Dadward Scissorhands.
Good work on that one, guys. I'm glad we were able to deduce both those things.
Yes, which was what the episode really was about.
I've been Benwood Scissorhands.
I'm Dom Dollar Jr.
And I'm Phoenix Scissorhands. Phoenix with Scissorhands.
Because I'm Benwood Scissorhands.
Yeah.
So if you're Wood Scissorhands, isn't that just
No,
split?
because
Like
you...
word.
Like W-A-R-D, like Squidward. Or Dadward.
They should have made his hands made of wood. That's the sequel.
Edward
Do you reckon if they made a sequel to Edward Scissorhands, where you have Wood Scissorhands, it would be
Like Freddy versus Jason.
whoever wins, wins.
Oh, Sam.
Thanks for listening. To contact Phoenix and Ben, email them at fromahatpodcast@gmail.com or go to our Facebook or Twitter. Links are in the description.